We're going to start today on our backs. Just lay down on your mat, get really comfortable. You can lay flat on your back. You don't have to do that. You can also bring your knees up, soles of the feet planted on the ground, and you can have a block under your back here if that feels good. Or you can bring the soles of the feet together and let your knees open out wide to the sides. Just get super comfortable. Close your eyes here and start to call attention to your breath. Begin to deepen and lengthen each breath. Stretch your breath out as long as you comfortably can. Not in a forced way, just gently lengthening each breath. Feel your chest rising and falling as you breathe in and out. Feel your rib cage expanding and contracting with each breath. Feel your back pushing against the ground on your inhales and a release of pressure on your exhale. Start to find your yoga breath, your ujjayi breath. This is a nice loud breath. You can hear it inside the back of your throat, kind of like the ocean. If you constrict your throat just a little bit. And just listen. Listening to the breath. With the sound of your breath, fill your mind completely, pushing away all other thoughts and bringing you fully into your body, here and now, at this moment, between the four corners of your mat. Start to do a body scan. From the crown of your head, work your way through the back and then to the spine, into the hips and down the legs, knees, ankles, and toes. As you go through each body part, just make a note of how you feel today. Noticing any parts that are off, anything that feels sore. And remembering any injuries you have, old or new, anything that may affect your ability to come into a pose today. And breath. Yoga is all about bringing awareness into the body. So we begin by just noticing where we are when we start out and respecting where that place is before we begin. Take a few more deep, full breaths here, just being inside of your body. Blink your eyes open, draw your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lifting the forehead up to the knees. Curl into a little ball, squeezing everything together. Release your head back down to the mat. Find your kneecaps with your hands and do some circles with your knees, giving your lower back a little massage on the ground. And find circles going the other way. Keeping your right knee up to your chest. Let your left leg slide back down to its spot on the mat. Towards the right. Try to find a 90-degree angle in the knee and the hip. Right fingertips can tuck inside the crease of the knee to help the knee stay down to the ground. Bring the left hand out to the side and bring the gaze over to the left hand. On your next inhale, lift your right knee up to center. Exhale, cross it over the body, dropping it down to the left. Left fingers can tuck inside the crease of the knee. Right hand comes out to the side. Gaze comes to the right hand. Release your left hand back out to the side. Bring your right knee back up to your chest. Left knee comes to join it. And once again, wrap your arms around your legs. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, forehead comes up to the knees, squeezing tight into a little ball. Release your head back down to the mat. And keep your left knee up to your chest, letting the right leg slide back down to its spot. Then open out the left knee towards the left. Try to find that 90-degree angle in the knees and hips. Left fingertips can tuck inside the crease of the knee to help it stay down. Bring the right hand out to the side. Gaze comes to the right hand. On your next breath in, lift your left knee up to center. Exhale, drop it off over to the other side, across the body. Right fingertips can tuck inside the crease of the knee. Left hand comes out to the side, gaze comes to the left hand. Release your right hand back out to the side. Bring your left knee back up to your chest. Right knee comes to join it one last time. Wrap your arms around your legs. Take a big breath in. Exhale into a cannonball, lifting the forehead up to the knees. Squeeze everything tight together. And release your head back down to the mat. Drop your feet down to the mat, knees pointing straight up to the sky. And reach your hands up overhead. 3 bridge poses going with the breath. As you breathe in, lift the hips up, rooting down through the feet, pushing the hips up to the sky. Exhale, lowering back down to the mat. 1 vertebrae at a time, nice and slow. 2 more times, inhaling to lift. Exhale, 1 vertebrae at a time, lowering back down. Last time, go with your breath. Lift your feet up, tuck your fingertips inside the creases of both knees, and rock and roll back and forward along the spine a few times. Making your way into easy pose. Easy pose is kind of like sitting cross-legged. If it's accessible to you, try to open up your legs so that both knees and both feet are touching the ground. If that doesn't seem possible, that's okay too. Folding forward over the feet. Inhale, lift your hands up. Exhale, hinging from the hips, folding forward. Stretch your fingers out in front of you, keeping the spine really long. Once you find your edge, round out through the back. Relax your forehead down towards the ground. On your next inhale, walk your hands back, lifting up your chest. Float your hands all the way up. Exhale, side stretch to the right. I'm just going to mirror you here. Plant your right hand down. Walk your fingers out and let your left arm come arcing overhead. Feel a stretch on the right side of your body. If it's okay on your neck, you can bring your gaze up towards the ceiling. If not, just keep it down towards the ground. On your next breath in, lift your hands, come back up to center. Exhale, stretching down to the left hand plants on the ground. Walk your left fingers out and let your right arm come arcing overhead. Stretching out the right side of the body. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling or down towards the ground. Come back to center, breathing in. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Release your hands down to your lap and do some circles with the neck. These could be big or small, fast or slow, whatever feels right to you. You can imagine that you're leading the circles with the crown of your head or with the point of your chin. And find circles going the other way. Bring your head back to center, reach down and switch your legs. Whichever leg's in the front, push it to the back. Back leg comes out in front. One more time, folding over the feet. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, fold forward. Nice long spine, hinging from the hips. Once you find your edge, relax your head and neck down and round out through the back. On your next inhale, walk your hands back, lifting up your chest. And make your way to your hands and knees tabletop. You can roll over your knees or you can swing your legs around to the side. Bring your hands so that your wrists come right below your shoulders and your knees come right below your hips. Start to move through cat-cow, always going with the breath. Inhale, drop the belly down, roll the shoulders back, bring your gaze up or forward. Exhale, rounding up the spine, push your back up towards the ceiling, one vertebrae at a time. Relax your head and neck down and bring the gaze through the knees. Keep moving, just like that. Find your own rhythm, going with your breath. Try to lengthen your breath, lengthen your motion to match the breath. Come back to a neutral spine on a breath in. Exhale to downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up. Making an upside down V with the ground here. Hands and feet are both about hip width distance apart. You can pedal your knees out, bending one knee and then the other. Just get the blood flowing through the legs and the hips. Check in on your shoulders here in downward facing dog. You always want your shoulders moving down the back, towards the hips, out of the ears. Fingers are open nice and wide, pushing down through the pads at the ends of each of your fingers and the curve at the bottom of the palm. You can have a little micro bend in your knuckles, gripping the mat with your hands. Lift your right leg high. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, step the foot through between the hands and drop the left knee down to the mat. Inhale, rising up to low lunge. You can always find your balance with your hands underneath to start. And once you're feeling stable, inhale, lifting the hands up overhead. Turn the pinkies and keep the shoulders moving down the back. Take one more deep breath in here. Exhale, twisting around to the right. Left hand drops across the right knee. The right arm reaches back. Maybe the right arm can line up with the back leg. Maybe it's just reaching in that direction. On your next inhale, lift your hands back up overhead. Exhale, release. Drop your hands down, framing the front foot. Bring your weight back onto your left leg to lift up the right toes. And start to slide or scoot your right heel forward. If your mat's really sticky, you might have to lift that heel up just a little bit. Don't worry about how far you get down here. Listen to your legs. Feel the stretch on the inside, on the backs of the legs. You can always find your blocks here. And plant your hands on either side of that leg. You've got 3 different height options with your blocks. Anyone is fine, whatever feels right to you. And then gently bend and straighten the front knee. Nice and slow. Just finding your range of motion here in that front leg. Notice how the stretch changes as you move in and out of the pose. If you want to go deeper, you can bend your elbows straight back, lowering down the head and neck over the leg. On your next inhale, lift your chest up, slide or scoot that right heel back, and set the right foot down on the mat. Tuck your left toes under, left knee pops up. Look forward, take a big breath in. Exhale, stepping your left foot up to your right, forward fold at the front of the mat. Half lift as you breathe in. Try to bring the torso parallel to the ground. Forward fold on your exhale, relaxing the whole upper body down. Inhale, rising up to standing, bend your knees. Roll your spine up one vertebrae at a time, nice and slow. Hands float up overhead. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Side stretch. Inhale, hands high. Interlace the fingers, pointers up. Exhale, stretching down to the right. Back up to center, breathing in. And to the left as you breathe out. Inhale to center. Standing back bend on your exhale, cactus your arms or bring your hands to your back pockets to support your lower back. Coming straight back up on a breath in. Exhale, fold forward, hinge from the hips, keeping your spine nice and long as you go down. Half lift to breathe in. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat, hop or step back to your high plank, upper push-up, double dip chaturanga. You can keep your knees up or you can drop them down to the mat. Back up to breathe in. Back down again as you breathe out. Inhale to up dog or cobra. If your legs are all the way on the ground, keep a bend in your elbows. And exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up. Let's try that sequence on the left. Left heel comes high, big breath in. Exhale, step the foot through between the hands and drop the right knee down to the mat. Inhale, rising up to the lunge. You can always find your balance with your hands on your knee. And then lift the hands up. Turn the pinkies in, keep your shoulders moving down your back. Take one more big breath in here. Exhale, twisting around to the left. Drop the right hand across the left knee and reach your left arm back. Maybe it's lining up with the back leg, or just come as close as you can. On your next breath in, lift your hands back up to center. Exhale, release, drop your hands down, framing the front foot. Weight comes back onto the right leg to lift the left toes up. Slide or scoot the left heel forward. You might have to pick it up a little. That mat's super sticky. Don't worry about how far you go down. Find your own edge. Remember, you can find those blocks here underneath your hands at any height. Gently bend and straighten the front knee. Exploring the range of motion. And you can bend your elbows back, lowering down the chest if you want to go deeper into the pose. Inhale, lifting up your chest. Slide or scoot your left heel back and set your left foot down on the mat. And tuck your right toes under. Right knee pops up. Look forward. Take a big breath in. Exhale, stepping the right foot up to the left. Forward fold. Half lift as you breathe in. You can bring your hands to your shins or float them over the ground. Exhale, folding forward. Relax everything down. Inhale, up to standing, bend your knees. Roll your spine one vertebrae at a time. Arms come up last. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Side stretch again, this time to the left first. Inhale, hands high. Interlace the fingers, pointers up. Exhale, stretching down to the left. Back up to center, breathing in. And to the right as you breathe out. Inhale, straight up. Exhale, standing back and really gentle with your neck here. Come back up straight to breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge from the hips, keeping a nice long spine as you go down. Half lift on your breath in. Exhale, plant your hands, hop or step back to your high plank. Double dip, lower down half pose. Lift the hips up, downward facing dog. One last sensation, just straight up and down, no side stretch this time. Bend your knees, lift your hands, take a deep breath in. Exhale, hop or step between the hands, forward fold. Half lift, breathing in. Forward fold as you breathe out. Rising up to standing, take your whole breath to get there. Exhale, hands to heart center. Going straight back down this time. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, diving forward with a nice long spine. Half lift as you breathe in. Double dip chaturanga, breathing out. Upper step back to your high plank. Lower down halfway. Try to bring the soles of the feet parallel to the wall behind you as you're lowering down. Up dog or cobra on your inhale. And downward facing dog as you exhale. Lift your right heel high. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Shoulders come right over the wrists. Foot goes back up on a breath in. Exhale, tap the right knee to the right elbow. Inhale, sending the heel high. Exhale, cross it over, tap it to the left elbow. Straight back up. Big breath in. And step your foot through between your hands as you breathe out. Rising up on an inhale, make your way to warrior one. Back foot comes down at about a 45-degree angle. Front knee has a nice deep bend in it. Right over the ankle. Front toes are pointing straight forward. Check on that back left pinky toe edge, making sure it's really glued down to the mat. And then try to pull your left hip forward. If you notice the pinky toe edge peeling up, that's where you want to stop. Make sure that whole foot is stuck down on the mat. Hands are up, turn the pinkies in. Humble warrior, take a big breath in here. Exhale, sweep your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers, push down, puffing up the chest. Take a deep breath in. Fold forward as you breathe out. Leading with the chest, keeping the spine really long. Once you find your edge, relax your head and neck and peel the arms off the back. Push through your hands, pulling the shoulder blades down the back, towards the hips, out of the ears. Right side body can come to rest against the right inner thigh. On your next inhale, rise back up to warrior one. And let's come into pyramid pose. Straighten out the front knee, open out the arms. Wide to the sides, take a deep breath in here. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips, keeping the spine long. Stop when your torso comes parallel to the ground and drop your gaze down to your big toe. Imagine you feel strings pulling your arms out in either direction, pulling the crown of the head straight out in front of you, stretching out your spine. One more inhale here. On your exhale, release your hands down. You can find your blocks here under your hands. At any height is fine. Or just plant your hands on either side of your front foot and relax your head and neck down over your front knee. Traditionally, in pyramid pose, the front knee is straight. If that's not accessible to you, that's okay. You can have a bend in that knee. You can also gently bend and straighten, pushing the knee back towards straight. Just notice how it feels as you push it back, feeling that nice stretch on the back of the leg. Coming into Revolve Triangle pose, plant your left hand on the mat or on a block, right next to the right foot. Bring all the way to the left hand. Inhale, lifting your right arm high. Opening up towards the sides, step the shoulders. If it's okay on your neck, you can bring your gaze up towards your upper hand. Arms are reaching towards, being perpendicular to the floor. If that's not accessible to you, that's okay. Just come as close as you can. Take one more big breath in here. Exhale, release your right hand back down to the ground. Bend your front knee, rise back up to warrior one on a breath in. Open out to warrior two as you breathe out. Pivoting that back foot around, bringing the feet perpendicular. Front heel can intersect the back heel or the back arch. I always want to widen my stance a little bit from warrior one to warrior two. Check on the back hand. Back hand likes to droop down when you're not looking. Keep it nice and high. And then bring your gaze right over the front middle finger. 5 yoga jumping jacks with the breath. Inhale, straighten out the front knee, bring your hands up overhead. Exhale, slowly sinking back down to warrior two. 4 more. Just go at your own pace. You don't need to stay with me. I'm just counting so you know where I am. Find your own rhythm going with the breath. 3, try to stretch your breath out really long. Then take your whole breath to complete each motion. 2, and last one. Coming into triangle pose, straighten out the front knee. You might want to scoot that back foot just a little bit closer, keeping the feet perpendicular to each other. Send your hips toward the back of the mat. Stretch the right arm forward, lengthening the spine. Take a big breath in. Exhale, making a quarter turn down with your arms, bringing the arms perpendicular to the floor. Right hand can rest against that front leg. You can also find a block here on either side of the leg if that feels good. Check in with your back, left hip. Really try to keep that hip open towards the side. Sometimes it wants to fold forward towards the ground. Push it back in line with the body. Imagine that you're between 2 walls that are very close together. If it's on the neck, you can bring your gaze up towards the upper hand. On your next inhale, bend your front knee, rise back up to warrior 2. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down, framing the front foot. Right heel goes high to breathe in. Double dip chaturanga, breathing out. You can keep that right foot up or you can drop it down to the mat. Up dog or cobra as you breathe in. And downward facing dog as you breathe out. Let's take a little rest before we do the other side. Drop your knees down to the mat. Make your way to child's pose. You can have your knees together. You can bring some space between them. Stretch your hands out in front of you. Relax your forehead down towards the ground. You can also wrap your hands back towards the feet, palms facing up. Just let the shoulders drape over the knees. Close your eyes here. Bring your attention back to your breath. Finding a nice, strong, deep breath again. Feel your back rising and falling with the breath. If your hands are wrapped back towards the feet, bring them back out in front of you. On an inhale, lift up the chest, coming to hands and knees, tabletop. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. All right, same sequence on the left. Left heel comes high, big breath in. Exhale, bring the knee to the nose, shoulders right over the wrists. Foot goes back up on a breath in. Exhale, tap the left knee to the left elbow. Inhale, sending your heel high. Exhale, cross it over, tap it to the right elbow. Foot goes straight back up to breathe in. And step your foot through between your hands as you breathe out. Rising up on an inhale to warrior 1. Back foot's down at about a 45-degree angle. Front toes pointing straight forward. You can do a hip check. Drop your hands down to the hips. Pushing that right hip forward, making sure that back right pinky toe edge is rooted down to the mat. Once you've got your hips as close as you can come to being squared off towards the front, inhale, lift your hands up, turn the pinkies in. Humble warrior, 1 more big breath in here. Exhale, sweep the hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers, push down, puff up the chest, take a deep breath in. Fold forward on your exhale, hinging from the hips. Leading the chest, nice long spine going down. Once you find your edge, relax your head and neck. Let your left body rest against the left inner thigh. And peel the arms off the back, push up through the hands. Feel your shoulder blades sliding down your back, towards your hips, out of your ears. On your next inhale, rise back up to warrior one. And come into pyramid pose. Straighten out the front knee. Open out the arms. Wide to the sides. Take a deep breath in here. On your exhale, hinge from the hips, folding forward nice and slow. Keeping the spine long. Stop when your torso comes parallel to the ground and drop the gaze to the big toe. Feel those strings pulling your arms out in either direction, pulling the crown of your head straight forward. One more inhale here. Exhale, release your hands down to the ground. You can just plant your hands on either side of the foot or find those blocks again at any height underneath your hands. Relax your head and neck down over your front knee. Check in with that front knee. It can be straight or you can have a bend in it. You can gently bend and straighten. Just exploring the range of motion. Feel that nice stretch as you push the knee back towards straight. You never have to get all the way there. Just notice how your leg is feeling. Coming into Revolve Triangle pose. Right hand comes right next to the left foot on the mat or on a block. All weight comes to the right hand. Inhale, lifting the left arm high. Opening up the chest toward the side. Try to bring your arms perpendicular to the floor. Bring the gaze up towards the upper hand. And check on that back foot, making sure your right pinky toe edge is still really rooted down to the mat. One last deep inhale here. Exhale, release your left hand back down to the ground. Bend your front knee, rise back up to warrior one on a breath in. Open out, warrior two. As you breathe out, pivoting that back foot around, bringing the feet perpendicular. Front heel can intersect the back heel or the back arch. Front toes pointing straight forward, back toes pointing straight towards the long edge of the mat. Peek on the back hand, make sure it's nice and high, and then bring the gaze over the front middle finger. 5 yoga jumping jacks here with the breath. Inhale, knees straight, arms up. Exhale, slowly sinking back down to warrior two. 4 more, just going with your breath. You don't have to stay with me, I'm just counting so you know where I am. 3. Feel every muscle working together, nice and slow. 2. And last one. Coming into triangle pose, straighten out the front knee. If you want to scoot that back foot a little bit forward, send the hips back, stretch the left arm forward, take a deep breath in, lengthening the spine. Exhale, making the quarter turn down, bring your arms perpendicular to the floor. Again, you can find a block here if you like, on either side of that foot, underneath your left hand, or just rest your left hand against the front leg. Keep that right hip really open. Don't let it fold towards the floor. It's okay on the neck. You can bring the gaze up towards the upper hand. On your next inhale, bend your front knee, rise back up to warrior two. Exhale, cartwheeling the hands down, frame the front foot, and left heel goes up. Upward cobra, drop that foot down, pull the chest through the shoulders, big breath in. Exhale, rolling over the toes, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, lift your hands, take a deep breath in. Exhale, hop or step between your hands, forward fold. Half lift to breathe in. Forward fold as you breathe out. Inhale all the way up to standing, bend your knees, stack your vertebrae one at a time on your way up. Hands come up overhead. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Chair pose. We're going to do 3 chair planes today. To come into chair pose, you can either have your big toes touching with a little space between the heels, or you can bring your feet kind of on 2 different train tracks right underneath your hips. Inhale, lift your hands up. Exhale, sitting back into your chair. Push your hips down and back. Pull the shoulders down the back. Wiggle the toes. Make sure most of the weight's in the heels. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, chair plane. Sweep your hands back. Chest comes down to the knees. Try to lift your heels up off the ground. 2 more with the breath. Inhale up to chair, keeping the hips really low. Exhale, chair plane. Sweep the hips. Lift the heels. They can be up a lot or just a tiny bit. Allow all the way back up to standing on your next breath in. Exhale, hands to heart center. Ragdoll pose. Bring your feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, lifting the hands up. Exhale, fold forward, nice long spine as you go down. Grab for opposite elbows. Relax your head and neck down. Gently sway side to side. You can bend one knee and then the other. Imagine that you feel your spine, water falling down towards the ground. Before we release, just notice how your arms are crossed, so you can cross them the opposite way the next time we come in. Release your hands down to the mat. Weight comes to the fingertips to heel, to the feet back together again. Bend your knees, roll the spine on a big breath and coming all the way up to standing. Hands come up overhead. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Tree pose. If you know that you're a little bit wobbly, you can go over and float your hands on a wall somewhere. Just have a little extra security, or maybe a table. I'm just going to mirror you again. So we'll be doing the opposite side. Bring all weight to your left foot. Right knee comes pointing straight out to the side. 3 foot placement options here. You can keep your toes on the ground and set the sole of the foot on the ankle. You can raise it up so your heel comes right underneath the knee in that little curve. Or you can come all the way up on the thigh, toes above the knee. Wherever you are, find your leg balance to start. You can just focus on the legs today, keeping your hands at your hips or bringing them to heart. Or if you like to include the hands, inhale, lift your hands up overhead. Take one more big breath in here. Exhale, release, shake it all up. And let's try the other side. All weight comes to the right foot. Left knee is pointing straight out to the side. Keep the toes on the ground, set the sole of the foot on the ankle. Raise it up, bring your heel in that little curve right under the knee. Or come all the way up on the thigh, above the knee. Focus on the legs, keeping your hands on your hips or bringing them to heart center. Or include the arms as well. Inhale, lift the hands up. Take one more deep breath in here. Exhale, release, shake it all out. Back into ragdoll. Feet come hip width distance apart. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, folding forward, nice long spine going down. Grab for opposite elbows and then cross your arms the other way, the awkward way. Gently rock side to side. Imagine you feel all the kinks falling right out of your spine through the top of your head. Release your hands back down to the mat. Heel to your feet out even wider. Toes out, heels in. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, sitting right down into your deep squat. Bring your hands to heart center. Push your hips down towards the ground. You can open up your feet as wide as you need to get your heels to touch the ground. Push your knees out with your elbows. Stretch your spine up long. Feel the crown of your head stretching straight out to the sky. Take one more big breath in here, stretching even taller. And release, coming to a seat. Boat pose. Knees are pointing up to the sky. Tuck your fingers inside the creases of both knees. And gently lean back to float the feet. Spine is nice and long here. If this is enough, you can stay right here. If you want a little bit more, release your hands out to the side. And if you really want to challenge, you can do some boat sit-ups here. Inhale, straighten out the legs, lean back, but don't touch the ground. Exhale, coming back into boat. Try for 4 more, just go with the breath. Inhaling to open. Exhale, bringing your knees back in. 3, 2, and last one. Drop your feet down to the mat. Bring your hands behind you, fingers pointing towards the hips. And gently windshield wiper your knees side to side, releasing the hips. Send your legs out long in front of you, coming into half fish pose here. Bend your right knee, putting it up towards the sky, and cross it over the left leg. Left leg can stay where it is, or you can bring the weight over to the left. Then bend your left knee, wrapping it around the hips. Right fingertips come behind you. With your left arm, you can either hug that front knee, or inhale, lifting your hand up. Exhale, tuck your elbow outside of your knee. Release your hands, plant both hands on your left side, and tap your forehead down for a counter twist. Push your chest up on a breath in. Wiggle out the legs. And come in on the left side. Left knee comes up, pointing towards the sky. Cross it over the right leg. Right leg stays where it is, or bring the weight over to the right and bend your knee, wrapping it around the hips. Left fingers come behind you. With your right arm, you can either hug that front knee or inhale up. Exhale, tucking the elbow. Release your arms, plant both hands on your right side, and tap your forehead down for your counter twist. Push your chest up to breathe in. Wiggle out your legs. Coming into a reverse table. Plant both feet on the mat, knees pointing up towards the sky, hands are behind you, fingers pointing towards the hips. Inhale, lifting your hips up. Push the hips up towards the sky. If it's okay on your head, you can relax your head back. You can stay here. Or if you want a little bit of movement, you can go with the breath. Take a big breath in. Exhale, sweep the hips through the hands. Try to keep your hips above the ground, back through the hands. 2 more times with the breath. Inhaling, pushing the hips up. Exhale, sweeping the hips down and back through your hands, keeping them above the ground. Last one, inhaling to lift. Exhale, sweeping down and back. And then release. Come all the way onto your back. Another bridge pose. This time, we're gonna hold it. Knees pointing straight up towards the sky. Plant your hands flat on your mat so that your middle fingers are just touching the backs of the heels. As you breathe in, rooting down through the feet, lift your hips up. Interlace your fingers underneath your back and then scoot your shoulders even closer together underneath you to lift even higher. Stay really strong in the legs. Feel a nice stretch in the belly, pushing the belly up towards the sky. One more inhale, lift even higher. And release back to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. Draw your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your legs, take a big breath in. Exhale, forehead comes up to the knees, squeezing into a tight little ball. Release your head back down to the mat. Find the kneecaps with your hands and do some circles. And find circles going the other way. Release your arms out wide in a T. Float your legs in a tabletop, 90 degrees in the knees and hips. Take a big breath in here. Exhale, drop your knees down together to the right, all the way to the ground. Trying to keep a 90-degree angle in the knees and hips. Right fingertips can tuck inside the crease of the left knee to help your legs stay down to the ground. And bring your gaze over to your left hand to complete your twist. Release your right hand back out to the side. Lift your knees up to center on a breath in. Exhale, dropping them down together towards the left, all the way to the ground. Left fingertips can tuck inside the crease of the right knee. And bring the gaze over to the right hand. And release your left hand back out to the side. Lift your knees up to center, breathing in. Happy baby pose. You can keep your knees bent and hold outside the knees, or you can open up your feet. Reach for the pinky toe edges of the feet, and then push your tailbone back down flat on the mat. Pull the knees in towards the armpits. Gently rock side to side. Really trying to keep that tailbone stuck down to the mat. You can also straighten out one leg and bend the other knee. And trade back and forth like that a couple times. And release, making your way into Shavasana. This is any comfortable laying down position you can find. You can be flat on your back. Bring the soles of the feet together. You can have your legs in easy pose position. Or knees pointing up to the sky, opening up the feet and let your knees gently fall in towards each other. Wherever you are, just get super comfortable. Lift up your chest, pull the shoulder blades down the back a bit more. Bring your chin into your chest and rock your head side to side, just letting your head fall back to its natural center point. Hands can be by your sides, palms facing up or down. You can also bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Close your eyes. Release your body. Feel yourself melting into the ground. If it's helpful, you can do another body scan here, checking for any tension, and if you find it, just imagine it melting out of you. Release your breath, returning back to natural breathing. And release your mind. Just watch your thoughts come and go, like clouds in the sky on a windy day. You see them, and then they disappear to be replaced by something new. Find a few moments of stillness to complete your practice today. Blink your eyes open. Start to make your way back up to a seat. Thank you so much for joining me for yoga today. Namaste.